Welcome to Morning Rounds, Stony Brook Medicine's video series, where we engage in candid conversations with Stony Brook Medicine colleagues on key initiatives, institutional updates, and expert insights on critical topics. Today, I'm delighted to welcome a third-year medical student at the Renaissance School of Medicine, Raymond Uduba, who is also the past president of the Stony Brook chapter of Black Men in White Coats. Last year, Raymond played a key role in organizing Stony Brook's first Black Men in White Coats Youth Summit. This inspiring event brought together hundreds of students from across Long Island to learn about careers in medicine and connect with mentors. So, grab your coffee, settle in, and let's get started. So, welcome, Raymond, and thanks for joining me today on Morning Rounds.
Thank you, Dr. Wertheim.
Tell me a little bit about how you first became interested in medicine as a career.
Of course. So, growing up, my mother was a nurse, and she kind of enforced it in me that like anything in the medical field was like the only option I had.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of was toying around with different things. I went from like pharmacist to nurse, and eventually I landed on a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that was a really like turning point in my life, like having her as a mentor, my first mentor, really. And I kind of made my future into medicine.
That's great. That's wonderful. And tell me a little bit about what your plans are. And now that you're finished with your third year, you must be getting close to a decision.
Yeah. So right now I'm just studying for my 2 board exams that we have to take while in medical school. And then I think I'm going to start putting my applications in for away rotations. I think I've decided on the field of psychiatry to go into. I really love that experience being a third-year student. So I'm really excited.
That's wonderful. It's a great field, and I'm sure you'll be great at it.
Thank you so much.
Medical school is, of course, tough for anybody to go through. And I'm wondering if you felt that as someone who's Black, it was a little bit more challenging, or you faced obstacles that other people maybe did not during medical school.
For sure. I think something that really was an obstacle for me was like looking around and seeing people who don't look like me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like in our class alone, like there's only 2 Black men in our class of 137. So I feel like along with that, it's like almost like I am being watched because it's like, it's only 2 of you. So it's like, can you make it through? It's almost like doubts being surrounded by me. So I feel like I always have to perform at the level of others, or maybe sometimes higher than others, in order just to make it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like with that being an issue, it's like, I can't mess up. I have to do the right thing the first time, or else it's just like almost like people were doubting me the first time. So it's like, of course he didn't make it, like, why would he? Mm-hmm. So I feel like that's a lot of pressure on myself and from other peers that I have to deal with.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there was a lot of stress to go through.
For sure. Not having mentors who have been through the process, the MCAT, like this is all a new journey for me. I don't really have a lot of doctors in my family, so I feel like I didn't have anybody to lean on. I kind of went off of like, online resources or reaching out to friends the best I could. I feel like maybe having a mentor at the time, like having a mentor who went through the same thing I did would have been really helpful.
Sure. Now, is that what inspired you to get involved in Black Men in White Coats? I think you've started the first chapter in Long Island, correct?
I was part of the team who helped start
Part
it.
of the team.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the inaugural presidents, Marquis Soto, he's a 4th-year student now. He's the one who kind of like spearheaded the first chapter here at Stony Brook. But it did inspire me to help out in Black Men in White Coats here at Stony Brook, because when I was an undergrad, I didn't have something like this, Black Men in White Coats. And I feel like that experience would have really helped me a lot, seeing people who are just like me going through the struggles that I was soon going to go through. Mm-hmm. I feel like would have been really helpful. So I've made it a mission of mine, at least, to really reach out to high school students and also the undergrad students to really like push them and give them advice and tell them my struggles, so that when they're going through something, they know they're not alone.
That's great. I bet that's very important for them.
So important.
What have they said to you about what it means to them? Have they talked about that at all?
Absolutely. So sometimes when they don't have the representation here on campus, or they don't see anybody going through it, like I mentioned before, it almost seems like they're alone. So I feel like sometimes when I, break down my struggles, like everything might seem perfect on the surface, but I like, hey, I struggled too. I took the MCAT twice. That's something I tell people. I'm not ashamed of it. So if you have to take the MCAT twice, for example, that's okay. No one's going to shame you for it. If you want to take a gap year, you can do that as well. I think just having someone to relate to and understand that they went through struggles as well really helps these students. And they tell me this too. So I feel like hopefully it does help them.
That's great. That's wonderful. Tell me a little bit more about the Black Men in White Coats initiative. What does it mean? What are its aims? And what are the kinds of activities that you do?
Of course. So Black Men in White Coats was actually started in 2013 by Dr. Dale. And this was important for him because I think the AAMC in about 2013, 2014, they released a report that stated that there were actually more Black male medical school applicants in 1978 than there were in 2014. So I think this report that was released by the AAMC kind of like made Dr. Dale think like, wow, like that's something that should be talked about more. So he kind of like created the initiative Black Men in White Coats, and which kind of like took off. And I think this is important because one of our missions at Black Men in White Coats is to increase the amount of Black males in the medical field, medicine in general. And we do this by mentorship, inspiration, and also having like just opportunities. Some of the opportunities we do, for example, is here at Stony Brook, like the youth summit that we do, which I'm really proud of. And then we kind of just like have different stations. We talk about different fields, not just medicine, but like nursing, dentistry, just inspiring students from all over, especially Black males, that they can succeed and be in the medical field if they want to.
I think that's great. I think the number or the statistic I heard that sticks in my mind is 2% of physicians are Black men. Is that correct?
That is correct. So I think it's about like less than 3. So about 2 is correct, like Black men, and in total, like Black in general, just a little under 6%. So we're definitely lacking in the field of medicine. And I feel like this is something that I want to see a big change in, and why I'm so dedicated to Black Men in White Coats. And I won't stop.
That's great. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad. What is it like for you as a medical student, future doctor, to walk into a patient room? Do you feel like, people react differently to you, positively, negatively? What is that like? How do you feel?
You never really know when you walk into a room what to expect. You just kind of have to go with it. I feel like it comes with the territory of being a Black man, especially in medicine. Like some people may not find that, very positive mindset. But at the end of the day, you can only be yourself. So I feel like I don't change myself when I walk into each patient's room. Each patient gets the same Raymond when I walk in, and their response kind of just has to be what it is. I feel like I can't treat patients any differently. I usually, by the end of the encounter, I usually am met with a positive encounter overall. So it usually ends up being fine. So the nerves I had before are okay. But you always have to keep it in your back of your mind. People do have implicit bias. So no matter what, they may not think so highly of me. So I just use my skills, my medical, efforts to kind of just like speak for me.
I'm sure you do very well at.
Thank you.
I'm sure you do. So the chapter of Black Men in White Coats at Stony Brook, what sort of impact has it had? How's it been received? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So when we first started the chapter, I think some of the chapter members were a little bit scared that maybe it might get shot down. Maybe people would be offended by the name even alone. So I feel like when we got really big acceptance from the administration, we were very happy. Especially when we launched our youth summit, we had nothing but support from the local community, from different physicians here at Stony Brook. They were very accepting, very willing to volunteer and help out. So overall, it's been a really good experience. I feel like our impact has been humongous, especially here on Long Island. I believe we were the first chapter here on Long Island. So I feel like our reach to different high schools, different college students was very well received. And overall, I think the students love the interaction. So I'm pretty happy with that.
Good. That's great. I presume that you've met some of the students who came to the youth summit.
Absolutely.
What do you tell them if they say to you, gee, Raymond, I don't know if I can go to medical school. It seems like too big a challenge for me. How do you have that conversation with them?
That's a great question. So what I like to do is I like to break it up into small steps. I don't believe in looking at the big picture so far, because sometimes it can be overwhelming talking to like an 11-year-old, like, you're going to go to medical school. Like, they don't really understand. So I feel like breaking up into pieces, like start with high school, start with college. What do you like to do? I feel like by making it more relatable to the individual I'm talking to, it makes it more achievable. Mm-hmm. So I like to just relate to what they like to do. What do they just for fun? Like, what do they do with sport? They like music. Because I'm not necessarily it's not just about the medicine. It's about like career longevity in general. You are more than just a student. You are more than just a Black individual. You can be a Black doctor. You can be a Black nurse. So I feel like just encouraging them is also really important as well.
That's great. What sort of different things do you say? Let's say you have an 11-year-old or you have a high school student that you're talking to. college student, what sorts of things do you suggest to them or ask them or try to direct them if they're asking you for advice?
I always start with what they know is available, because a lot of times people limit themselves to what they think they know is available, but they don't know the opportunities they have. So, for example, I was talking to a student here during one of our past youth summit about choosing high school. I was like, what are you interested in? Like, oh, I like to dance. I like to work with my hands. And I'm like, do you have a trades and technical high school where you can implement these things, like get a trade or dance or perform or whatever you think is possible? They said, no, I'm not sure about that. So I feel like when I pulled their teacher to the side and I was like, hey, do you have any high schools? They were like, yeah, we have this high school, this high school, this high school. And I'm like, bridge that gap. If a student has an interest but doesn't know about their interest, and a teacher knows resources but doesn't provide the resources, then there's a lack of miscommunication there and it needs to be filled.
It sounds like you're part coach, part teacher, part parent sometimes as you have these conversations with the students that you work with.
Yeah. I feel like it comes with the territory. I think it's important to play different roles in people's lives. Not that I take over those roles like a parent or a coach, but sometimes you don't want to hear technical advice. Sometimes they just want a helping hand. They just want like a shoulder to cry on. So I feel like that's why maybe the parent part comes in. I'm here to listen. Sometimes they want sympathy, but I'm like, sympathy is not here. You need to be realistic. If you want this goal, crying is not really going to help you in this moment. We can cry later, but right now, put in the work and then we can get it done.
Right.
So I think that's like that jumping around you mentioned before.
That's great. Tell me about the first Black Men in White Coats Youth Summit. And I think there were over 500 participants. I was there, by the way.
Yeah. So that one was very nerve-wracking for all of us at Black Men in White Coats. It was the first time that something like that had ever occurred at Stony Brook. We weren't sure how it would be received, if we would have people who came, or if it would be negatively received. It was phenomenal. We had a huge turnout. A lot of the students loved it. The teachers, like college students, like students of all ages. I think that's what made me very happy. Like we're able to participate. Students from kindergarten all the way until college even were able to like do something that could pertain to them. The different stations, everything. I loved it. It was great.
Good. Yeah, I did think it was a great event, I have to say.
Thank you.
Let's talk about you a little bit.
Okay.
Future career plans, what are your hopes? What kind of practice do you envision yourself in?
Yeah. Coming into medical school, I thought, this is going to sound really like cliche, but like TV kind of like, influenced me. Like,
so you're right in the right place.
Yeah. So stuff like, that's so taboo to say, but it's just like when you watch TVs, you're like, oh, wow, like Grey's Anatomy and stuff like that, Scrubs. The ED, the emergency room, was something I thought maybe I would be interested in. So coming into medical school, I thought maybe emergency medicine was something I would like to do. After doing my rotations, it was a little too chaotic for me. So that was really good to kind of like eliminate that. After going through all my rotations, I think psychiatry was the one that spoke the most to me. And it's funny because I never considered psychiatry until I did my rotation. So it's really good to kind of see people go from like active psychosis until their baseline, which to me was like very impactful, using like SSRIs to help them, cope with something that may be lifelong.
Right.
I love that experience, and I feel like I want to continue working on that, possibly in an inpatient unit in the future.
Inpatient unit.
Inpatient unit.
That's the sickest of the sick.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
But seeing them get better was really like a turning point for me. It made me feel useful. Yeah. So I definitely would like to continue that.
I sense a little bit of a parallel because mental and behavioral health is so damaging to people's lives.
Absolutely.
And keeps them from living their dreams.
Absolutely.
And in a way, the work that you're doing as a mentor in Black Men in White Coats helps people also be able to realize their dreams. So I'm seeing a connection there. I don't know if you think I'm taking that too far.
No, I don't think you're taking it far at all. I do agree. I feel like mental health and people's struggles are something that you can work on both in psychiatry and also like in mentoring. I feel like seeing people at their lowest, I can see both parallels there with the mentoring and in psychiatry, and helping build them up as much as you can as well is really helpful. And it's something that I think I do well. So I feel I want to continue that as well.
That's great. That's wonderful. If you could give one piece of advice to young students who are Black about considering a career in medicine, what would it be?
Don't stop. I feel there were so many times in this journey that I wanted to stop. I was just too tired. I just wanted to give up. Organic chemistry, physics 1, like the MCAT. There were just so many road bumps in the way that I was like, man, I don't want to do this anymore. Forget it. But I feel like when you give up in that time, like you give power to people who didn't want to see you succeed. Mm-hmm. So I feel like just keep on going, prove them wrong. And I love the saying, it's like, we didn't come this far to come this far. So keep on going until you reach the finish line.
It's a great sentiment. Yeah. Something to remember. How can people stay engaged and learn more about the Stony Brook chapter of Black Men in White Coats or the movement in general? And what do you think people can do to help?
Absolutely. I feel like in this day and age with technologies, using your platforms is humongous. Like using your social media, being active, even if you don't want to post, like just following the account that we have, like just staying up to date, like volunteering your time. I feel like a lot of physicians and a lot of volunteers we have don't realize how big that is for you to just like help a little kid learn how to like suture or learn how to do like heart sounds. Like it may not be so big to you because it's like, oh, it's just some heart sounds. But for the kid, this is an experience they never had before. So just staying active, like following us on social media, like following our events and just staying active with us, I think is the best thing that anybody can help us do.
That's great. Any last words of advice before we close?
Like I mentioned before, keep going. This is to anybody who is considering medicine, especially like a Black male in medicine. Keep going. You got this. We didn't come this far to come this far.
That wraps up today's episode. Thank you, future Dr. Raymond Uduba, for joining us today. And to everyone at Stony Brook Medicine, thank you for all that you do to make a difference every day. Until next time, keep the coffee brewing and the innovation flowing at Stony Brook Medicine.